Greetings from Indianapolis. Alan Thomalla here. Let's see. In the first two episodes, we discussed the impact of our responses as helpers on people experiencing perceptual issues. We talked about how the language we use can shame or anger people and keep them stuck in their pathology. We also discussed an alternative model of perceptual conflicts, or PCs, a model that uses different language that sets the stage for better clinical understanding and better therapeutic outcomes. Up until now, our focus has been on how to respond to the visual, auditory, and cognitive perceptions of others that does not appear to be grounded in what we call reality. Today, we're going to shift our focus a bit. Rather than exploring our responses to the people with whom we work, we're now going to consider proactive therapeutic interactions that can support them in experiencing fewer perceptual conflicts in the first place. Have you ever wondered how people get stuck in a particular way of thinking? This is actually quite common and is, in reality, generally a good thing. Consider these habitual thoughts. I should pay my bills. It is 12 degrees outside. I should wear a coat. I love my children, and it's already Thursday. But what if our thoughts emerged as, those people are watching me, judging me. People will try to hurt or cheat you if they can. I don't care for anyone because no one seems to care for me. In each of these examples, a couple of things seem to be true. First, our brains are wired such that once we think something, it is a lot easier to think it again, and again, and again. In fact, the more we think it, and the more this thought is reinforced, the more it becomes a well-traversed trail that eventually becomes a primary highway. The same is true of our emotions. Certain events can easily trigger specific emotions that become more likely to be experienced again over time. For example, you might have started dating someone when a particular song was popular. You associated the song with your special time together, and it became our song. Years later, when you happen to hear the song again, long after its popularity has waned, a surge of positive, warm emotions might surge over you as you're flooded with fond memories. That, or depending on how the relationship turned out, the emotions coursing through you might be more akin to anger or fear. She threw out my rock collection. Still, emotions can become automatic, just like thoughts. Below the surface of all these thoughts and actions is an intricate web of axons, dendrites, synaptic clefts, chemical substances, and neural networks with various degrees of magnitude that we call the brain. The brain actually develops neural routes that are used more than others, or which better serve our needs. The more developed these neural networks become, the faster and more efficient they become. They will also be preferred to other routes that may require more time or resources to build and develop. Routes that are used less or that are ineffective tend to atrophy over time. Another aspect of these thoughts, whether it is, I love my kids, or people will try to hurt or cheat you if they can, is that they are true to the person thinking them. In part, this may be because these thoughts are consistent with their experience. Also, however, these thoughts appear to meet a need within the thinker. What? That's crazy. How could thinking people will try to hurt or cheat you if they can meet a need? Well, if you live in a rough neighborhood, this thought just might be true, accurate, and leads to wide choices given the circumstances. It is generally true that we take our thoughts with us even when we leave the neighborhood. We know that neural patterns become reinforced and more rapidly triggered over time. Even if the people you see do not intend to hurt or cheat you, thinking this and avoiding them by crossing the road on the other side reinforces the thought because at the end of the day, you are safe and unmolested. The strategy worked. As we explored in previous episodes, we know it is not good to tell people that their thoughts or emotions or perceptions are wrong. We each come to our perceptions through our own unique experiences and for our own reasons. One person's experience may be scattered with blessings, while another person's is peppered with trauma. The last thing any one of us needs is to be told our experiences are not valid. So, if we know that a person's perceptions are leading them into distress, how can we help them reduce their perceptual conflicts and experience greater happiness? Well, we know that neural routes that are used more often become the dominant routes, and those that are used less begin to atrophy. Now, we want to meet a person where they are, but in general, we want to talk less about the perceptual conflicts and increase conversations and activities that meet their needs and keep them grounded in the here and now. We facilitate this being grounded in the here and now by drawing their attention to their senses. Try saying things like, "Wow, it just rained outside. Doesn't it smell clean and fresh? Take a long breath of that and hold it." Or, "Here, have a muffin. Take a small bite first and tell me what you taste." Or, "Hey, feel these 2 leaves. Doesn't this one feel so much softer than this other one that's kind of rough? What makes them so different?" The best proactive treatment you can provide to people who struggle with perceptual conflicts are to just keep having normal conversations and experiences with them until normal becomes the superhighway and the odd or eccentric begins to wane. If they've not had many healthy relationships in the past, imagine how reinforcing it becomes when you engage them in everyday normal activities and conversations. Activities and conversations that are guided by respect, levity, encouragement, optimism, and hope. I've always said that the most important treatment that patients receive in a state hospital is not from the psychiatrist or from the psychologist, but from the line staff and the recreational therapists who do this every day and know this stuff inside and out. Keep up the good work.